so we're getting into the section that are the vegetables, the non-starchy vegetables. Those are like free foods for us, so we can eat as many of those as we want to, as long as we're not loading them up with a lot of butter and cheese and stuff, especially if you're trying to manage your weight. So most of these are our garden vegetables that we can grow in our garden. Cauliflower, broccoli, celery, peppers, all are great for us. Great snacks, add them to your meals. And then our herbs are another thing that are like free for us. So if you like cilantro, parsley, things like that to flavor up your foods, that's a lot better than using salt. So think about adding that. Today, if you come over to lunch at the IHS conference room, I made a little Italian pasta salad that has a lot of fresh basil and cilantro in it, so it's kind of a refreshing change. We get hungry for that stuff this time of year now. So, any questions about the vegetables?
Are these like high in sugar?
Are they what?
High in sugar.
Rutabagas? No.
Oh.
Those are a non-starchy vegetable.
Okay.
Good question. Yep.
I wasn't sure.
Parsnips and rutabagas are both good. The rutabagas are actually a member of like the cabbage family.
Oh.
Yep. And they don't raise our blood sugar.
They're so good in soup.
They are very good in soup. I was raised on that too. Yeah, good question. And then our salad mixes. You know, if you're looking for a convenient item that's really quick for
Are
a
we able
lunch.
to get those on our things?
Yes, those are vegetables. Sure.
Oh, when we
Absolutely. You can. You can get any of these mixtures. Yep.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Good question.
And what about like the mushrooms?
That's a non-starchy vegetable also.
Got a good recipe?
I don't know. I just like to add them to things.
Oh, do you?
I'm not much for eating just fresh mushrooms. Some people like to just eat them fresh, but I'm not much for that.
Yeah, I mean,
but I add them to everything. I like to add them to soups. I put them in chili.
Yeah,
Salad. Salads are great. Yeah, yeah. Pizza topping, anything like that, they're great for. And did you know that they also have a fair amount of protein in them? Mushrooms do. So, yeah.
Like what's helpful, portobello, if you throw them,
good.
So we're just going to look at some labels here. Sharon, do you want to do one? Okay. So first thing that I'm going to have you look at with this label is the amount of sodium. So we're looking at some deli meat here. So how much sodium do you have for a serving?
I got 500.
500 milligrams?
570.
570? 500, okay. And so it doesn't really matter. We usually think, well, turkey's going to be the healthiest. It still has a good amount. Does anyone have turkey? Okay. It still has, it's a processed meat, and so it's going to have a good amount of sodium. So how much sodium should we have a day in our diet? 2,000 to 2,500 milligrams is fairly low sodium diet. So if we're eating a sandwich, we're getting 500. Guess what? We've got 1/4 of our salt for the day. So it doesn't take long for that to be adding up. Okay, let's go ahead and put those back in here. So it's definitely worth your time to just take a peek at the label to see if you can find some that are a little bit, probably won't be able to get it exactly. I think they might have changed from here. Yep, it's low. Yep.
This one's lower.
Yep, if you look at your label, you'll be able to compare and see there's a big difference. I have some people that ask me, now what did I do with my card? Oh, okay. Ask me about hot dogs, and you know, we've got summer now, so we're gonna be grilling out. So look for the ones that are all meat. Try to get them all turkey, all beef, all chicken. Try not to get a mixture. Those are the ones that
Which ones are all beef?
it will say all beef on it. Here, classic beef. So this would be probably, it's an uncured one also, so that means it's gonna have less sodium in it. So, you know, there's not really a healthy hot dog, but this is probably the closest you can get. And we still wanna enjoy these things in the summertime. Yeah.
Sir, could I buy all beef?
Yep.
Different taste difference? They are a little more expensive.
They are a little more expensive, you're correct.
What about the one that 40?
That would probably be fine. I have not looked at theirs, but you might ask them if they, what they're putting in them, what they're doing
I don't
themselves. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't have anything to do.
All right, what about bacon?
No, I didn't take it off.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look at these bacons. So what do you notice right away when you look at bacon?
Fat.
The fat, right? Okay, let's see if there's any difference in the salt content. I'm trying to see if they have any turkey bacon. I'm not seeing it right off. Anyone else notice it? They may not, they might be out right now. But I usually recommend turkey bacon compared to our regular bacon just because it has a lot less fat and less salt in it. So
Does it taste just like this one?
it tastes much the same. It's very good if you want to add it to baked beans or anything like that. How much salt and fat do we have in those?
220. 7 grams of fat. So
delicious.
Makes it off.
Just thinking about it makes your mouth water, huh? Okay. So check for turkey bacon if you can find it. That would be a healthier choice there. So as far as the meats go, always just think about the marbling of the meat. So the less of the fat that you can see, the better it's going to be. So these are not real lean here. This one's probably the leanest, 93 as compared to 85. There's probably some that are even 75. So that means 85% is meat, but 15% is fat. So when you start browning that up, you're going to have quite a bit of fat there.
They also say that they add antibiotics to your beef.
So you can look
That's
to
not a
see.
good thing.
It depends.
Yeah.
There are some farmers that try not to. They are just raising them grass-fed. They're not giving them any medications at all. And so if you want to look for those, look for organic.
But they also say that's probably why our daughters, our girls mature at an earlier age, because that's what they start.
Yeah, there is some research out
Yeah.
there, and they're still doing research. It's a
Yeah.
fairly new field. Yeah, we don't know what all does affect us. Of course, the more natural that we can get, the better, no matter what you're eating.
But you're also going to pay a little bit more.
You always pay a little more for the organic. That's true. Yep. Thanks for sharing that, Sharon. Questions about the meats? So when you're buying the leaner meats, you're going to have to cook it a little differently. So you know that since there isn't fat on here, this is going to be a little tougher meat to cook. So you want to cook it slower and probably add some moisture to it. It's going to have to be on lower heat with moisture. Okay. So now we're getting away from some of the natural products. We're seeing more of the processed foods here. So these foods in general are going to have more additives, more sodium, more fat. So it may take you a little time if you're really trying to be health conscious and find the best option if you want a convenience product. So instead of getting like the stove top with everything together in it, you might just look to go and get some croutons that don't have any of the seasoning in it, you could just get the dried croutons and add your own. That would be a healthier choice. Takes a little more time, but overall it's going to be better for your health. Okay, and you know that soups have a lot of added salt, correct? So again, it's just label reading. There are some now that say heart healthy. You have to look for that little, it's usually has a little heart on the label somewhere. So let's see if we can find something like that. Okay, great. If you can see that little healthy request, heart healthy, that would be something to look for. Yep, yep. The consumer is asking for healthier products, so we're going to be able to find that, but it just takes a little longer. Once you decide what your favorite brand is, it'll be easy though. The first time takes longer because you have to look at labels, but once you've gotten your one that you want.
There's some with 25% less sodium.
Yep, 25% less sodium.
I never seen that one.
And I know there are some that have almost no fat too now.
Oh, wow.
Yep, so here is what 98% fat free. So that's another one to look for if you're doing your cream soups, especially if you have heart disease.
Well, like when I make roast,
Mm-hmm.
I add chicken broth, but they make unsalted chicken broth.
Yes, they do.
But you can't find it in Walmart.
Okay.
Only place you can find it is at Teal's.
Okay.
So you pay a little bit more, but
You don't have that added salt.
Yeah.
So you're taking care of your body, and that's important.
yeah.
That's important. Good. Anyone eating oatmeal? Which one do you get when you have oatmeal? Okay. So my favorite is just the old fashioned, and I don't have any special brand, you know. I just look for the one that's probably on sale or the store brand.
Yeah,
I think
get those.
you get this kind. Okay, I think I've got this one at home right now, the old fashioned oats. So it doesn't really matter which one you pick. The biggest thing is if you buy the instant kind, try to stay away from these that have the flavorings in them because they've got a lot of extra sugar added to them. So that's going to make a difference as far as for your blood sugars and if you're trying to manage your weight. So
Like with my oatmeal, I don't add milk. I don't use sugar.
I don't either.
I use honey
Okay.
and granola, or that granola.
Okay.
I do
Put a little
maybe
crunch in
frozen,
there.
frozen raspberries, or
Okay.
I mean blueberries.
Sounds delicious. Sounds delicious. Yeah, it's easy to make up your own little oatmeal mix once you find something that works for you. And oatmeal is nice because it's a soluble fiber. So when you eat that, it actually soaks up the fat and salt that you're eating throughout the day. Takes it out of your system, so you excrete it. So it helps lower our cholesterol and our blood pressure and our blood sugar. So it's really a good food for us. Okay, what about cereal bars? Do you guys have a favorite cereal bar that you like?
I like honey. I don't have any.
Kind. Okay. I've heard of that too.
A little
So-
bit healthier.
Yeah, it is. So the main thing that I tell people for our cereal bars is to make sure you find one that has protein in it. This is going to help you from having a blood sugar spike.
I like bacon.
So you want to look for how much protein. This one has 10 grams of protein. That's really high. It's also high calorie. This would be almost like a meal replacement to have one of these.
Here's the
Okay.
one
Oh yeah, here's a kind. Okay. So this one has half as much protein in it, but it does have a lot of fiber. So again, it will keep you from having a blood sugar spike. So look for fiber and protein when you're getting your cereal bars.
So is it good? So I don't kind of skip, but I buy that one with sugar free.
That's fine. Yep. That's a good option. Either the light one with half as much calories, so this is your light, has usually half as much sugar in it, or you can get So the sugar-free one too. Yep. Either one of those are fine. So another thing that you could try putting on waffles or pancakes is peanut butter. Also, you could just have some fruit, you know, on your pancakes too. A little butter and fruit. Whipped cream and fruit. That's kind of a nice change. A treat. When you're buying canned fruit, look for the light syrup instead of the heavy syrup. So you want to look for the one, so this is a heavy syrup. You want to stay away from that. This is an extra light syrup. So that's going to be your healthier choice. Or you can get it in 100% juice, like this one is 100% juice.
So when it says unsweet, that means there's no.
They didn't add any sugar.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay, we're just going to move along unless you have something specific that you're wondering about. As far as juices, all of them will raise your blood sugar at just a small amount. Doesn't take much. There are some light juices though, and they are like, I think 5% sugar is all. So that would be something to look at if you really think you have to have juice. Otherwise, I try to recommend people to eat fruit instead of drink juice. So eggs are one of our best proteins that we have. It used to be that we would tell people not to eat too many eggs. It would raise their cholesterol. However, now research is showing that eggs are very good for us, and they have a lot of other nutrition besides the cholesterol. And we don't really think that the cholesterol in the eggs raises your cholesterol anymore. So we're allowed to have a couple eggs a day, no problem.
Doesn't matter how you cook them.
Nope, doesn't matter how you cook them. They're good for you. Yogurt, try to look for something between 80 and 100 calories. And we want to look at the lighter ones. And if you're looking for more protein, it's the Greek yogurt. The Greek has twice as much protein as regular yogurt. So you're going to get your money's worth. It's a little more spendy, but you're going to get your money's worth. It'll keep you full a long time. So the cheeses, general rule is the white cheese has less fat than the orange cheeses. So the provolone, the mozzarella, those kind of cheeses. Again, the consumer keeps asking for healthier products, so you'll be able to find some reduced fat cheeses. So this one has 2%, so that's a reduced fat, where a lot of them are made with the full fat. So it's a matter again of looking at those labels. Any questions about frozen products? So frozen vegetables are just as nutritious as fresh. The only difference is probably the fiber is a little easier to digest because they've been blanched in some hot water, so that's reduced those fibers a little bit. One thing I want to warn you about, a lot of the vegetables, frozen vegetables, are coming with a sauce now. So when you look at that sauce, make sure you're checking the label to see what's in that sauce. A lot of them have a lot of cheese and butter and things like that. So it's not really going to bother your blood sugar, but if you're trying to manage your weight, it adds calories really quick. So just staying with the plainer ones is always a good choice. Okay, what about bread? Let's look at bread. I love bread. So,
I get that one right there. The whole thing.
you get the whole grain white, this one? Okay, that's fine. We'll have somebody look at that whole grain white. That's a good one to look at. I wanted to try to find, yeah, let's look at this one. Or this one too. This is another good one, Karen. Okay. So, first thing, let's look on these labels. The nutrition facts. How many calories per slice? Karen, how many calories?
150.
Okay. 60.
130.
Okay.
Yeah.
And mine only has 45 because this is more of a diet one here. Okay. Now, let's look at fiber. Dietary fiber. How much fiber in a slice?
11%.
Let's look at the grams.
2 grams. 3.
Okay.
3.
Okay. This one has 3 also. So we want to have at least 2 grams of fiber per slice. That means it's a good whole grain product. Okay. Sometimes there are like fake wheat breads. So what they're doing is they're just using the white flour bread and they're adding molasses to make it look round. So it doesn't really have a lot of fiber in it. So, questions? Okay, so these are all good choices that you could pick. Okay, so the frozen fruit again is just like the fresh fruit. That would be a healthy choice to get to. And the frozen fruit, what's nice about that, it's like Sharon said, you can add it to oatmeal, or you could maybe put it in a smoothie. Just take out what you need, and then the rest can go back in the freezer. So there's no waste. Where sometimes we buy the fresh fruit, we don't eat it in time, and then we end up wasting it. So, okay. How about energy drinks? Okay, pick out an energy drink. Let's look at them a little bit. This will be our last thing we're looking at. You guys maybe have one you like. You ever drink them, Karen?
I don't drink them,
I
so I
don't
know
either.
nothing.
What do we got so far? Anybody got a Monster?
I do.
Okay, so let's, those are all Monsters. Well, here's a Full Throttle.
You need a rock star. Over there.
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
That one's sugar free though.
I like this one. This one
Okay.
tastes good.
So first thing, let's look at how many calories.
30. Okay.
This one has 210 calories.
30.
Okay,
110.
okay. And the serving size, this is 1 can.
This is 1 second.
Okay,
What can?
okay. So now let's look at total carbohydrates. And I'm diabetic. If I drink this can, I got 54 grams, which is like 5 carbohydrate servings almost.
5 grams. 6.
57.
Wow, you're even higher. So that's going to be more than a meal for you.
29.
Okay, so that's 2 carb choices for you. Okay, now let's see if we can find, does it list how much caffeine is in there at all? Mine isn't either.
Yes. 0 protein.
Okay, okay,
189 milligrams of caffeine.
okay.
This one is really good.
So,
Get this one.
how much caffeine's in a cup of coffee? About 50 milligrams. So that's like 3 cups of
This
coffee.
is like 3.5. Get this one.
Does this one say for caffeine at all?
No.
Mine doesn't either, but I know it's in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these back. So we know if we have diabetes, it's not a good choice for us. What about if we have heart disease? Not a good choice for us. What about just the normal healthy person? Yeah, not good choices for us. Oh, yeah. So the other thing that's hidden with those energy drinks is there are chemicals in there that we really don't know what it does to us. And so these energy drinks are not allowed into the European countries.
Really? Wow.
They have done enough research there. They know they are harmful to your health. And we see here in the United States that a lot of the children, the young adults, are ending up in ER with heart palpitations from drinking these. They may stay up late at night and drink these energy drinks to study. And then when it's time to go to sleep, they lay down in bed and their heart's like jumping out of their chest. And so we do know there are chemicals in there that we're not sure how it affects us, so they're not really a healthy drink. Okay, thanks for joining us, and we're going to go over to IHS and have lunch now. And if you're watching this, we would invite you to come along and join us with our virtual diabetes class. See you next time.